What's going on YouTube? The midsize 3-row segment is one of the hottest in the auto market, but there are also increasingly more and more options. Whether or not you believe it in other areas of life, it's hard to deny that size does matter in this segment, and is one of the key ways to stand out among all the rivals. And this comparison is going to be focused on two of the newest and two of the largest options, the Toyota Grand Highlander and the Chevy Traverse. So which of these all-new and massive SUVs is the best pick for you and your family? That's the question we're going to answer today. Now, like always, let's quickly establish the pricing and trim levels right from the start. Beginning with the all-new Traverse, all that space is not coming cheap, since the fully loaded RS trim rings in at $58,090. For the Grand Highlander, the same money will also get you the fully loaded model called the Platinum Hybrid Max at $59,460. By the way, if you want to get the best price from local dealerships and access to invoice pricing information for these two models or any vehicle, we have a tool on our website to do just that. Check the link in the description for more info. But as far as this comparison, it will be conducted in an objective way. We have done our best to weigh the points awarded throughout in major and minor categories. But at the end of the comparison, we will talk about the small price difference and a new element we've been adding to our recent comparisons, reliability and resale value. With that being said, let's get into this comparison. So starting here with the exteriors, both models have toughened up over their predecessors, or in the case of the Grand Highlander, the regular version. They are fairly boxy and have faces defined by large, mostly black grilles. They also have premium lighting, composed of fully LED headlight componentry, but only the Chevy has dynamic turn signals, and only the Toyota has fog lamps. Moving to the sides, you can begin to get a sense of just how big these two are. Coming in at over 200 inches long is rare for this class, and the Traverse especially exceeds that by 4.5 inches. We will definitely be talking extensively about how the exterior sizing translates to interior space later on in the comparison. But for now, the noteworthy exterior element is that the Traverse RS comes with very large 22-inch alloy wheels, versus 20s on the Grand Highlander. More to come on ride quality as well. As we move around to the rear, you'll notice the interesting C-pillar design on the Chevy, as well as its more dynamic appearance, which draws inspiration from Camaro and Blazer. Grand Highlander looks a lot like the RAV4, and both of them have exposed wipers and exposed exhaust tips. The taillight clusters are entirely LED, but the main difference between them is that the Traverse has a lot more gloss black painted surfaces instead of matte plastic finish on the Toyota. Now checking out some of the individual features, both of their mirrors have heating, blind spot monitoring, and power folding. The only difference is that Chevy has driver's side auto dimming. Safety features are probably the most important features, so in addition to blind spot monitoring, both include the latest active safety features such as lane keeping assist. A new feature for Toyota is traffic jam assist for hands-free driving under 25 miles per hour. But the Traverse one-ups that with the RS having standard Super Cruise. This is a hands-free cruise control system that now works even on mapped secondary roads, and it can do things like automatically change lanes on multi-lane highways. You'll see the green on the steering wheel, which means Super Cruise is now active. I'm hands-free driving, and this is completely supported, and this will keep running unless we come up to like an intersection with a stop sign or a red light. It will warn me and turn off, but it's pretty cool to see this actually work on a side street, basically. Yeah. Towing-wise, both models can handle up to 5,000 pounds. And warranty-wise, they are the same, besides for Toyota including longer complimentary maintenance. But the space, luxury, and comfort of the cabins are even more important than the exteriors. So let's get to that. But first,
if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
As we walk towards the interiors, both models have smart entry as you would expect, but the Traverse lacks a sensor behind the door handle, so you will have to press the chrome button to unlock. Once we open up the doors, we have stark differences in the overall designs, especially since the Chevy carries the sporty theme into the inside as well. Let's start off with the seats though. Both of them are made of real leather, although the Toyota uses some suede as well. And for adjustments, the Chevy has additional 4-way lumbar instead of 2-way. Regardless though, both of them have heating, ventilation, and memory. Once we fully climb inside, we can get into the overall material quality. Both of them are more on the utilitarian side of things, but there is still plenty of soft touch plastic and leatherette in the common touch points. Both also use a faux carbon fiber design for the trim decor, just dyed red in the RS Traverse. Overall, we will call this area even. After startup, you'll see digital gauge clusters on both of them, with fully customizable graphics. But if you don't want to divert your gaze to look down, only the Toyota offers a head-up display. Moving back to the heated leather-wrapped steering wheels, be aware that power adjustment is a Traverse exclusive feature. Now let's talk about the overall interior storage, which is a huge area that both SUVs are literally huge in. The main center consoles are massive, fitting 17 and 24 donuts in the Traverse and Grand Highlander respectively. They also have extra cubbies up front with wireless chargers, and Traverse has a huge center pass-through as well. While Toyota just has a smaller side cubby, it makes up for it with a passenger storage shelf, so we'll call this area even as well. Moving on to the shifters, they're both electronic but in different places. And when shifted into reverse, we have 360-degree camera systems on both. Thankfully, we have classic physical controls for the 3-zone automatic climate systems in both SUVs, along with classic volume knobs for the audio systems. Let's go ahead and sample the 10-speaker Bose and 11-speaker JBL audio systems. Overall, they have approximately the same sound quality and an emphasis on bass. Now, let's address the displays. As you can probably tell, the Traverse's display is larger, coming in at a massive 17.7 inches, versus a more pedestrian 12.3 inches on the Grand Highlander. Besides the side, there are several features to discuss. Even though both models have wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, plus integrated navigation, the latest Chevy infotainment comes with Google Apps built in, meaning that you can use the superior Google Maps and Google Assistant without even having to pair your phone. Last but certainly not least for the front of the interiors, both models have digital camera rearview mirrors and large panoramic sunroofs. But now let's move on into the rear spaces, because this is probably the reason you are interested in SUVs of this size to begin with. They will definitely impress here, with ample space for all adults. Traverse does have the advantage in legroom, although not by more than 5% required to score a point, and headroom is very similar between them. The features list is also largely the same. There are rear climate controls, vents, 2 USB ports, and heated rear seats. The other differences are in the Grand Highlander's favor. It has sunshades and ventilated back seats as well. Furthermore, the Toyota has a removable center console with the captain's chairs. Let's head to the next row of seats. As far as access to the third rows, both have sliding mechanisms to make that simple, but the Traverse's tilt function means you wouldn't need to remove a child seat if you had one installed. As far as space is concerned, once back there, they are very similar. Even still, you can see the Grand Highlander's extra 1.3 inches in the footage, and that allows the cushion to extend a little further and support your thighs better. Both of them have 3 seats back here, bringing the total capacity to 7 as equipped. There are also USB ports, vents, and reclining abilities to keep people comfortable back here as well. Now heading to the cargo areas next, we have some back and forth. First of all, I want to emphasize that these two are massive and handily would defeat almost any competitor. But when battling each other, they are almost exactly the same at the top of the class. Traverse does have a 10.5% advantage behind the third row, but when all the seats are folded, it beats the Grand Highlander by only 0.1 cubic feet. Grand Highlander lacks a power folding third row, and also lacks buttons to fold the second row from the back. Only Grand Highlander has a 1500 watt outlet in the back as equipped. Alright, that's it for the interiors. So now, let's take this fight to the streets. So what's under the hoods powering these two? It turns out very different powertrains with fewer cylinders than you would probably expect. The new Traverse is using a 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, making more power than the previous V6 at 328 horsepower and 326 pound-feet of torque. The Grand Highlander also has a turbo 4-cylinder engine, but for the near $60,000 price point, you instead get the Hybrid Max powertrain. That adds hybrid electric components to a 2.4-liter turbo 4, making 362 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque. While the Traverse is actually above average for the class and moves the mass well, the Grand Highlander Hybrid Max is downright fast feeling. $60.
It pulls hard.
Yeah. Definitely. From the first time that we experienced this, it really was impressive in terms of power, and throughout the 7 days, it just continues to impress. Alright, and that's 65 miles an hour with this Traverse RS. So, with the next generation of Traverse, we have a totally different powertrain than the last generation. So we have gotten rid of the 3.6 V6, and we now have a 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. That goes for all trim levels of the Traverse, including this top-end RS. Now with this, we have 328 horsepower and 326 pound-feet of torque, and those are really good power numbers. As far as the other elements, torque and packaging requirements mean that the Grand Highlander Hybrid Max is actually rocking an old-school 6-speed automatic transmission, compared to an 8-speed automatic in the Traverse. While the 6 is still smooth, the Chevy's transmission is quicker and has more gears to choose from. Alright, so that was an acceleration from a complete stop, going a bit downhill. Let's talk about the other aspect of the powertrain. So that, of course, is our transmission. We've got an 8-speed automatic transmission. Through our time we've spent with this, I think it's a nice and responsive transmission. Really no complaints. It's nice and smooth overall. But it's definitely not all about speed, since comfort is extremely important for family crossovers. Both of them do a good job isolating out most potholes, but the Toyota will be more on the plush side of things than the Chevy, which is riding on those large 22-inch alloy wheels. Other trims of the Traverse come with smaller wheels, and they have rides that are closer to the Toyotas. Both their suspensions are pretty soft, and when cornering, they have a reasonable amount of body roll.
And this is a family SUV. We're just kind of cruising down the highway here, which reminds me to talk about ride quality. So the Traverse really excels in this area. We drove the Z71 yesterday, and then today we're in the RS. And the thing about the RS is that you have the large 22-inch alloy wheels. And while we're just kind of cruising along down this highway, I do want to just go ahead and leave off the performance for a little bit and dive into ride quality, because this is a Grand Highlander after all. It's really designed just to bring your family along for long road trips, which, like we said, we did do this week. And I have to say, very, very impressive. I absolutely love the way that they've done the suspension in this Grand Highlander. It soaks up the bumps super well. The seats are very comfortable over long road trips and long periods of time.
In addition to having comfy rides, let's talk about the noise levels in the cabin. Here at Car Confections, we take sound level readings for all the vehicles we review, and with these samples, the Grand Highlander was the quieter of the two. However, the Traverse's sample was taken on a media drive in Georgia instead of our designated Kentucky road, so we won't be able to give this a score until we get the Traverse back home.
I gave it a little bit longer there because the car was actually having trouble keeping 55 miles per hour.
I'm better at it than that.
I know, that's what I was going to say. I think you're better than the car. 57.7 decibels is what we were sitting at. 53.5 decibels seems to be the number that we have settled in at for this Toyota Grand Highlander on our home stretch of road here in Kentucky.
And the last on-the-road item to discuss is fuel economy. This is one of the biggest advantages of the Hybrid Max Grand Highlander, because it has big power and still gets 27 mpg combined, which is exactly 6 more than the Traverse. Traverse does not currently have any type of hybrid or other powertrain choice. In our reviews and comparisons, we are also adding in reliability and resale information to give you a better picture of the overall value beyond just the original MSRP. Beginning with reliability, we developed the Combined Reliability Index, which takes into account several studies from trustworthy sources and combines them in a way that gives you a more realistic picture. This is very interesting because Toyota and Chevy are the best and second best brands in the industry by this metric. They are 15 and 16 slots above average, giving the Traverse 1.5 points and the Grand Highlander 1.6 points. We also put Mason's economics degree to work by developing a detailed predicted resale value tool. After 5 years and 60,000 miles, we have more of a discrepancy between them. Toyota has the second highest predicted resale value of 64.5%, and Chevy is 8 slots below it with a PRV score of 54.7%. That will give the Toyota plus 0.9 points. Resale is obviously important because it determines how much money you get back, but we can't forget about the price difference at the original purchase. The Grand Highlander costs $1,370 more than the Traverse, which according to our scale gives the Chevy a half point. I want to emphasize that if money, reliability, or resale value matter less to you personally, feel free to disregard these points. And if you'd like to check out all our data about reliability and resale values, as well as learn about our methodology, make sure to head over to carconfections.com/resale and /reliability. Buying a car is a big decision, and this is a great place to compare all the makes you might be cross-shopping. So that's it for another exciting comparison, this time between two of the newest and biggest options your family could buy. Let's quickly recap here and discuss who should be your personal winner. So the Traverse should be your winner if you care about having top-tier technology. Also, if you appreciate the Super Cruise system, which is one of the most advanced highway driving assist functions available, fully hands-free. And also if you want that power folding third row and that slight cargo advantage.
The Grand Highlander, on the other hand, should be your choice if you really like that hybrid technology. It does have more power, it sounds better, and gets better fuel economy. Additionally, it has a better third row, and it's a Toyota after all, so it is going to have better resale value. But let us know which one of these two big choices you're taking in the comments down below. And if you're looking to buy either one of these options or any new vehicle, we want to remind you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. The reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description. There's also a pinned comment at the top of this video. But guys, that's where we leave off on this comparison. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. And if you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.